Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. I'm starting today's video by heading over to my brother's. I'm walking over there and riding my mountain bike back because he got a new one. I had lent him my mountain bike for a while until his new one came in. So let's head over and have a look at it. Well, I've made it to my brother's house after I think it took about 35-minute walk, so not too bad. So we'll get out both bikes, his new one and my older mountain bike. We'll just compare the two, see what modern technology has to offer. Here is my brother's new bike, a Trek. Wow. Nice color. It's a nice red color. So it has SRAM components on it, which they're American, and it's a 1x system. So it has just one gear at the front, and at the back it has giant chain rings going down to very small ones. So you can see how small they go and then very large. So in the past you had 3 chain rings on a mountain bike at the front, and there's a lot of overlap gears. So when you're in the smallest chain ring, you know, there's gears that are duplicated when you're in the middle chain ring. So there's kind of a lot of waste. So this is simpler. You don't need a front derailleur. There's just one chain ring at the front and a giant, cassette at the back. This is new, these new larger wheels on the derailleurs. That's kind of a new trend. So there's places, braze-ons for, not braze-on, weld-ons for, racks and stuff if you want to make it more of a utility bike. So this is an Excalibur 8, and it's just new for this year. It has adjustable front suspension. It's RockShox front suspension, and they're adjustable. They're air suspension, so you can pump it up with more or less air depending how stiff you want the front end. And then it's got disc brakes. Yeah, really nice disc brakes on it. Disc brakes front and rear. There's the rear disc brake there. And the tires, they are 29-inch wheels on it. So that's much bigger. A normal mountain bike, or an older one, comes with 26-inch tires or wheels. And my mountain bike, I think, is somewhere in between. So this gives you a lot of ground clearance if you're going over logs and stuff, rough trails. You get all this ground clearance. So yeah, it's pretty cool. What a nice bike. And this is what I'd call a mid-range bike. It's not a carbon fiber frame. It doesn't have dual suspension. It's more of a, more of a practical, everyday trail riding bike. Low maintenance. Should work for many, many years. Some of the higher end bikes, they're 2 to 3 times the price of this one, and I don't know, they're pretty complicated. Not for everyone. Here's a better look at the disc brakes. So they're Shimano. Really nice. They're beautiful looking, actually. Let's look at the front one now. Here's the front disc. Call them meat grinders. You can see the down tube here is bent a little for extra tire clearance. That's pretty cool. I've never seen that before. You can see how the frames change at the back to clear the disc brakes. They kind of bring it higher and then drop it down with the rear lug. That's pretty cool. And they also curve this down tube. You can see how it starts kind of flatter and then curves down, and that gives more clearance between the wheel and the frame, or the tire and the frame. So that's pretty cool, because you need it when you're, the shocks compress fully. You don't want your tire hitting the frame. So here is my brother's old mountain bike, a Gamma Vision. And these were sold at one of the department stores. They were, they were about $600 or $700 new, and we got them on sale for, I think we got them for like $140. It was amazing. The store was going out of business. So it's not a bad bike. It has aero rims, bladed spokes, disc brakes, full suspension. Yeah, just a little heavy. And this rear suspension's all cylinder or spring or whatever is all broken, and some of the pivot points are a little loose, and it's just kind of worn out. Not sure if you can get parts for these. At the moment we're on lockdown. You can only go outside for getting groceries or medical reasons or exercise. So that's why I'm showing you the bikes. It's one of the few things you can do outside and enjoy yourself during the pandemic. Here's the two bikes side by side now. This is my bike, the black one that I got at an auction really cheap. I was lucky to get that. So it has the 3 chain rings at the front, a front derailleur, and you know, a moderate range of gears at the back. It has Shimano derailleurs, lineman wheels. The tires are almost bald on it. I have to get new tires. That's about it. It's got, you know, suspension at the front. I think it's similar. I don't know. This one side says Reload, so this is a Norco bike. It's got Suntour front forks, disc brakes, and I think they're Shimano disc brakes. No, they're I don't know how to say that. Uriga Titro. I don't know what they are. But yeah, the derailleurs are Shimano. Yeah, it's a pretty good bike. It's nice and light and does the job. Needs a bit of a clean, doesn't it? Yeah, so that's the two bikes. Slightly smaller wheels on my bike. These are the giant wheels. Gives you more ground clearance. You can see how much ground clearance you have here. You know, it's almost, I can't measure, maybe to the top of my boot. Yeah, to the top of my boot. Whereas mine is way below. About that much difference. So you're getting an extra, you know, 10 centimeters almost. Maybe not 10. Maybe like 6 or 7 centimeters. Pretty cool. So what do you think, Tony?
Yeah, pretty happy to have the new bike.
Yeah.
I haven't ridden it yet. I gotta wait till the conditions. I don't want to get it
dirty.
Yeah, so it's brand new, but as soon as we get some dry road conditions, once we get it dirty for the first time, then it'll be.
I know. Then it's not so bad, is it?
Bracket tires at that?
Oh yeah, it's a lot higher.
Yeah, so it's probably better for going over stuff.
Yeah, you can really see the difference. Yeah. I'd be scraping logs, and you'd have tons of clearance.
Maybe why they designed it like they kind of designed it with that downward.
Yeah, and the bigger tires.
Yeah, the bigger tires.
The smaller chainring at the front. Yeah, you'll be going over logs that I'll be dreaming of going over. We're looking at the brake system on here, and it is hydraulic disc brakes. They're Shimano mineral oil. They're really soft. And at the back, where the brake is, there's no cable or anything that moves. It's just a line going into the brake, and you just see the pad move. This rear cog, I see it's stamped on the teeth here. It's 50. And then it goes down to 20, or wait, no, 50, 42, 36. And it goes right down to, it's either an 11 or 12 at the back. I'm going to head on my mountain bike now and head home. I've got an interview with NEBARI TV coming up at 12 noon, so that'll be fun. Well, I just got back home. Bike's back home. Time to go inside and warm up. It's quite cold out today. I think it's about -8 degrees Celsius.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know what you do about that. Now, how do you pronounce your name? Is it Claude, Claude, or Claude?
That's impressive, Nigel. That's impressive. It's Claude.
Claude. Okay. That's what I figured. I worked with a Frenchman once, and his name was Claude, and he insisted on being pronounced Claude.
Yes. So this is what's really interesting. Obviously, it's a French name.
Yep.
The French pronounce it Claude. Everybody else pronounces it Claude.
Claude.
So, yeah, it's neither here nor there because the French pronounce it Claude, and obviously it's a French origin.
And in North America here, everyone says Claude.
Yeah, or I got a friend from New York and he calls me Clyde.
Clyde, okay.
So that's that debate. I can't thank you enough, mate.
Well, it was nice meeting you too. I watch all your videos.
I tell you what, very quickly, and I'll let you go. I tell you, I think I put up the Peter Chan interview, and I saw a comment from Nigel Saunders.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I said, man, I said, mind blowing. I said, I can't believe it because I've been watching your videos for so many years.
Oh yeah, well, thank you.
No, you see, so you don't realize how many people you inspire.
I try and watch everyone's bonsai channels. That's what I do at nighttime. I put bonsai videos on, and,
yeah.
And I love it. I watch small channels starting up, and I watch larger channels, and I find it interesting seeing what other people are doing in the world with bonsai. Yeah. That was my interview with Claude from NEBARI TV. It was really fun. I'll put the link to his channel down below. He has a lot of really interesting interviews with famous bonsai people from all over the world, so really interesting to watch his channel. So it's getting kind of late in the afternoon and I haven't done any bonsai work today, so this is a bonsai channel, so I better get busy. I think what I'll do today is I'll show you some updates of some of the trees that I've worked on recently and what's happening with them, what's developing, how they're doing or not doing. So let's go have a look at some of the trees now. My first update for today is my Ficus microcarpa, the one that's in the Vietnamese style bonsai pot, which is 3D printed. And it was out in the greenhouse while I was working on the plant room, and it got quite cold, and it was near the edge of the plastic, and it must have gotten too cold because all the leaves started drying up and falling off, and I was quite worried about it. And you can see up top now there's all kinds of new green growth coming in, and even down on the trunk there's growth coming in. So the tree has survived. I may have lost some of the finer branches over here, but all the major trunk lines in that are still alive and growing. So that's kind of a sigh of relief. I was kind of worried because this tree is really old. The history of this tree, it was a cutting that I gave to someone at work who was getting into bonsai. And they had it on their desk at work and it was growing quite well. And then the person got fired and they were kind of escorted out of the building. And of course, you know, their personal belongings were gathered up from their desk and the tree sat on the desk and no one collected the tree. So I took the tree back into my possession once again. And then I developed it. So this was John's tree and it's quite old. It's probably getting close to 20 years old now, and it's just small. So yeah, so I'm really glad it survived, and it, you know, it's got a bit of a story behind it and a lot of memories behind it. And and I eventually want to develop it into a really nice tree. So it's got age behind it, and yeah, so it'll be fun. It's a fun project for the future. So I'm glad it didn't die because I'd hate to have to start all over. Here's another tree I was very worried about. This is my Saberleaf Ficus. I did a lot of really hard pruning on this tree, kind of reducing it down to just, you know, trunk. And I was always looking, I was checking every day, is there any sign of life? There is on the branch. I left some foliage on this branch here, and there's some new buds coming out on that. But the main trunk line, I didn't see anything developing for the longest time. I'm not sure how long ago I did the pruning, but it's been a while. And now I've noticed there is some buds happening on it. I'll show you those. Right up here at the top, right where my finger's pointing, there's a little bud coming out, and it's in the perfect place. Right at the front of the tree. I couldn't ask for a better bud there. So that is, I think, one of the few buds that's forming. There's that one. Oh no, there's another one back here, which isn't in a good place. It's on the inside of a curve. But hopefully there'll be more. This is just the first signs of life on the tree, and it's kind of exciting to see. Means the tree survived and it's going to grow again. I'm just looking on the lower trunk here. Oh yeah, there is a bud. There's one right here. Right there's a bud growing up near the apex, so that's good. So that's also survived. Oh, and there's one down here too. Yeah, there's one down lower. So yeah, I think more buds will pop out on this in the next few weeks. But it's really exciting to see, you know, that severe pruning. The tree survived and it'll grow well in the future. Because I'm really liking the trunks on these trees. They're starting to look really old. And that's something that's hard to replace. My bougainvillea with the kind of zigzag trunk was another one I was worried about. I didn't see any signs of life on it. It was down in the basement in the cool room and the leaves started falling off and I thought, oh, you know, it is from Brazil, these bougainvilleas, and I thought maybe they can't take the cold. So I was a little worried about it. All the leaves were falling off, and so I brought it up in the warmth, kept it watered well, and now there's all kinds of growth coming out on it. So once again, I was worried over nothing. Here's a look at the branches, and you can see there's green growth coming out all over them. So the tree's looking really good and healthy. My Snow Queen Hibiscus that Connor gave me as a cutting, it was quite slow to come out. And now you can see all the new leaves growing on it. So I was a little worried about that for a while. You know, I pruned it back and then there's nothing really happening. I knew it wasn't dead because I have some of the original leaves on it and they were fine. But I was just worried, well, maybe it doesn't backbud. But it is. It's doing really well now. And I really like this little tree. I think it's going to be fantastic in the future. And I just like that name, Snow Queen Hibiscus. I think that's kind of exciting. I can maybe see a Frozen theme coming for this. Maybe I'll 3D print, was it Elsa from Frozen? Standing beside this, you know, the Snow Queen. That would be a good theme. My Ficus religiosa, the large one back here, it wasn't slow to come out, but I was, you know, watching it very carefully, hoping new buds come out from it, that I did the right thing, hard pruning it back, and the tree, a lot of the leaves were falling off already, so I said, well, I think it's ready for a growth spurt. I think that's why the leaves are falling off, but I don't know if you can see it there, but now there's buds on every branch tip. It looks like it's recovered really well, and it's, I think it'll only be, you know, a week or maybe 2 before all the leaves are out. Yeah, so I'm glad that tree is alive and doing really well. My Dracaena is another one that's slow to come out, but if you look on the trunk now, you can see a little split in the bark, and there's a little green bud poking out, and there's one over here, and one over here, so, and one here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's at least 5 branches going to appear on the top of this tree. So yeah, I don't know if I should have cut it off shorter and just kept the straight part of the trunk and then grown a canopy. I kind of kept this curvy section. I don't know. This tree will thicken up in the future, so I think I will be glad that I left it taller, because if I'd cut it off here, I'd get this, eventually this short, squat trunk. And I think this tree, because of those flowing branches, it needs elegance, and you know, it needs to be taller and more flowing and snake-like. So I think eventually I'll be glad that I kept it taller than cutting it off really short. Hopefully, anyway. My Ficus benjaminas are still on the watch list. They're alive. There's new green growth on them. At the back here, there's a nice bright green leaf that's coming from the cutting that's grown over top of the original trunk here. So it's definitely alive. I'm hoping it bursts out and buds all over these trunks eventually, but not much action yet. So I'm eagerly awaiting, you know, if it grows well or if it just grows meagerly. I don't know what'll happen. I'm hoping I get that explosion of buds, but who knows. And my other one, my Ficus root over temple, not much action on that at all. I'm quite concerned. A lot of these branches I left on have kind of shriveled up and died. So, you know, it's still alive. But it's definitely on the watch list. I'll be eagerly awaiting signs of life on it. You know, buds popping out from the trunk. It's very, very rare that if you hard prune a Ficus benjamina down, that you'll actually kill the tree. There's a lot of vigor in it, and, you know, 9 times out of 10, it'll recover. So I'm hoping that happens here. But it's still on the watch list. Tonight I have the KW Bonsai, the Kitchener-Waterloo Bonsai Society's meeting. It's a Zoom meeting online, but it's really exciting to see the club members once again, and some people bring trees to show, and there's always topics for discussion. So Connor is the president of the KW Club, so he'll be hosting that meeting tonight. If you want to join the KW Bonsai Society, just go to the link down below, and you can join the club and join in on the Zoom meetings. And that's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.